Colombia is a beautiful country located in the northwestern corner of Latin America, with a tropical climate that allows agrarian development in the 87% and coasts on the Atlantic Ocean and Pacific Ocean. It should be one of the world's food raw materials producer, but did you know that Colombia has been subjected to an internal armed conflict for more than 15 years? Incredible but true. Through this video, I will tell you what the causes of this conflict have been and what is more important, what the consequences are of this terrible war that has left more than 7 million victims and the planted fields, yes, but the mines of death. It all began in the mid-20th century when the Liberal and Conservative Party decided to turn their political difference into reason of conflict between brothers who, without understanding their reasons, they took their lives away for the simple fact of thinking differently. By that time, the fertile land of the old region of the country was in the hands not of who should have it, but of the landlord descendants of the independent criollos and the oligarchs traders who had gained power through the trade. As we see, we had already had a great deal of social and political crisis in which the people had nothing to do but that they fought each other because their leaders demanded. It came to happen that different leaders appeared in the political scene called Jorge Eliezer Gaitán, who despite the fact that he belonged to the liberals, defended the interests of the poorest because he was one of them. When the most powerful realized Gaitán could become president, they decided to put together a plan to assassinate him. That's how it happened. Gaitán, called by his followers the Boss, was assassinated on April 9, 1948. The death of Gaitán split the history of Colombia into two. The violence that had been taking place in the countryside for some time moved to the cities and resulted in murders, massacres, and multiple types of violence. Peasants, tired of injustice and inability to participate, decided to form armed groups of the sideline by 1964, guerrillas of the law with the aim of gaining power by force, among them the ELN, the EPL, and the FARC. Faced with the emergence of these groups, the state in the hands of liberals and conservatives decided to confront these groups by military force, and that was when the internal armed conflict began. By 1980, FARC guerrillas has approximately 7,000 men, and there were already crimes against humanity such as kidnapping, recruitment of minors, and attack of civilians. However, this would not be the worst. In the same decade, the production of marijuana and cocaine grew, and the drug cartels that had just complicated the political and social situation of this country appeared. In addition to all the violence that was already living the countryside, a time of urban terrorism began, which frightened to the entire Colombian population. The guerrillas, in need of arms and capital to support themselves and to fight against the forces of the state, decide to ally the drug traffickers, displacing the population of the lands and were the potentially favorable for the cultivation of the coca and for installation and undetectable laboratories by the army and police. Although the phenomenon of displacement occurred very early in the 20th century, in this period it multiplied exponentially, reaching unimaginable figures, approximately 7 million people. By the end of the 20th century, Colombia was in deep economical, political, and social crisis. The state tried to fight two guerrillas groups, but these, converted in the narco-guerrillas, had grown in an excessive way until having approximately 30,000 men. Faced with this situation, the government of Álvaro Uribe Vélez decided to strengthen the armed forces and fight to the FARC incessantly. But violence brings more violence, and in that process more victims. more pain, more deaths, and few results. When the current president Juan Manuel Santos arrived, the strategy to achieve peace was radically changed. The negotiation process began to achieve a peace agreement, and although many Colombians did not agree with the strategy on September 27, 2016, the Cartagena Agreement was signed, giving rise to a new Colombia. Ratified in the Colón Theater in Bogotá, the peace agreement has transformed the history of this country. Betting on peace is betting of life, inclusion, tolerance, and new life for the young people and children of this wonderful country. Thank you.